Hello everybody and welcome to Grammar Online. This is the Mukagawa US Campus online grammar class. My name is Bridget Green and we're very excited for you to be here to study grammar with us online. Right, remember as we're going along you should take notes. I know that you've probably studied these before, but this is just review. And we'll be asking questions and later you'll have a quiz. So maybe you should take notes. Okay, here we go. Right, the first one is let's ask questions. Questions are so important because questions are what makes a conversation. To have a good conversation, you have to ask lots and lots and lots of questions. So let's talk about how to do that. There are two kinds of questions in English. There are yes-no questions and WH questions. Here's an example of each. Yes-no question. Are you happy? Yes, I am. Information or WH question. Why are you happy? I'm happy because I love grammar. I know that's true. Okay, today we're going to study yes-no questions, and next week we'll do information questions. Right. How do you make yes-no questions in English? First, before we talk about that, let's do a little basic grammar. Read the sentence below and say which is the subject and which is the verb. Okay, here's the answer. Right. Notice the subjects here are in green, she, I, we, and the verbs, okay, loves, ate, talk, is reading, haven't read, and can talk. Nice. Right. Within those verbs, there are two types of verbs. Main verbs and auxiliary verbs. The main verbs tell you the action. The auxiliary verb tells you the tense or mood. We'll talk about that later. Right. Now, for each of these sentences, which is the main verb and which is the auxiliary? Here's the answer. Auxiliary verb is haven't and can. Main verb, reading, eaten, and talk. Good job. A little basic review for you there. Now, we know there are four kinds of auxiliary verbs in English. There's be, have, modals, and number 4. We'll talk about number 4 later. Let's talk right now about be, have, and the modals. Right, but be careful. Some verbs can be either auxiliary or main verb. Which is the auxiliary and which is the main verb here? Here's the answer. Notice the ones in red are auxiliary verbs and the ones in blue are the main verbs. Okay? Notice that for be and have, those have can be either. Now am, you will see right here, this am, that is actually a linking verb, but if you said it was an auxiliary verb, that's fine. That's fine, don't worry about that. Here, have can be either, and the be verb can be either sometimes too. Right, so here we are. How do you make yes-no questions in English? Wait. Before we talk about this, let's think about how do you make yes-no questions in Japanese? Let's just think about that for a minute. It's a good idea to compare your grammar to the grammar in English. It will help you understand both of them better. Okay? So here's my answer. In Japanese, これはジュースですか? You just put ka on the end. Is that right? You are the expert, so you will have to tell me. Right. So, how do you make yes-no questions in English? Here's how. You flip. Can you do that with your fingers? You will flip. That's right. Flip. Right. Here we have she is reading. You can see the subject, you can see the auxiliary verb, and what happens? They flip. Is she reading? Nice. You just have to flip the auxiliary verb and the subject. We can swim. Flip. Flip. Ah, it didn't flip. Flip. Can we swim? Flip the subject and the auxiliary. I have eaten a cricket. This is true. Notice. Have you eaten a cricket? Notice that you flip the auxiliary and the subject. Sometimes you will notice that the subject changes. Here's I, and here's you. You know that. Right. Now it's your turn. Let's figure it out. Look at this picture. This is one of the pictures from the TOEIC writing section where you have to look at a picture. You're given 2 words and you have to write a sentence. Here's an example of a sentence you might write using informal or discuss. The group is at work. They were discussing a project. The discussion was informal. They're going to decide what to do next. Here, notice all of the verbs are the auxiliary be. The question is, what are the questions? Here are the answers. Did you get these right? Notice you flipped the subject and the auxiliary. Nice. Okay, here's another practice. This one is from the TOEIC listening test. In this case, you look at a picture and you have to choose a sentence that describes a photograph. Okay? Here are 4 sentences. Which one describes this photograph? They have been reading. The family has eaten dinner. The dad has bought this book for his kids. The kids have learned to read. Right. What are the questions that go with this? Okay, here are the answers. Notice you just had to flip the subject and the auxiliary. Nice job. Now, remember you had to choose a sentence that best describes this picture? Which sentence best describes the photograph? The answer is the first one. They have been reading. The other ones don't work. Okay, nice job. Right, now the auxiliary have. Remember we said it can be a main verb or an auxiliary verb. Can you tell which is which? Which one is the main and which one is the auxiliary verb? Okay, here's the answer. There we go. There's a main verb and there's the auxiliary verb. Remember, if there's an auxiliary verb, you just flip. Nice job. Now, if it's not an auxiliary verb, it's a main verb, you cannot flip it. We're going to talk about that later. Right. Now, which one is the main verb and which is the auxiliary verb in these sentences? Here's the answer. Right. Notice if it's the main verb, you can't flip it. But if it's the auxiliary verb, you can. So, what are the questions here? Here's the answer. Remember, if it's the auxiliary verb, you just flip it. Ooh, look at number 6. I have never been to Hokkaido. Have you ever been to Hokkaido? Let's talk about ever. Ever is only used in questions and negatives. So here, have you ever been to Paris? That's good because it's a question. I haven't ever been to Paris. That's a negative. Good. I have never been to Paris. Also a negative because it means not ever. And finally, I have ever been to Paris. That's wrong. Only is ever in a question or a negative. I have been to Paris. Good. Okay, remember we said there are 4 kinds of auxiliaries? So, what's the third kind? The modals. Here's examples. She can swim. I'd like a cup of coffee. We should study more. He'll ask you to marry him. These are some of the modals. Can you find the modals? Okay, here's the answers. Now, you found the modals. What are the questions? Yes, here are the answers. Notice, you just have to flip. Ta-da! Okay. Sometimes it's a little confusing which auxiliary is there. For example, here in the first two, is that is or has? In the last two, is that would or had? Here are the questions. Right, has and is. Would and had. Gotta be a little careful about that. Okay, how do you make yes-no questions in English? If it's a be, have, or modal? You remember the answer? You flip. That's right. Flip the subject and the auxiliary. Okay, now, da-da. What happens if there's no be, have, or modal? If the auxiliary is missing, what do you do? Well, that is for the fourth kind of auxiliary verb, and that is the one we're going to talk about now. If there's no auxiliary verb like this, my sister loves dogs, where is the auxiliary? First, what is the subject? What is the verb? You know this. Subject is my sister. The verb is loves. That's the main verb. What's the auxiliary? Well, it's do, and this is the tricky one. Do is the tricky one. Okay, if you have the subject and the verb but no auxiliary, such as my sister loves dogs, they study English, Jungkook played soccer, where is the auxiliary verb? Well, you have to bring the auxiliary verb. You will insert the auxiliary verb, do, does, or did, in there, and then you will move it or flip it with the subject, like this. The auxiliary, do, does, or did, appears and flips with the subject. Yay! And it becomes, oh, the auxiliary verb appears as if by magic. Ding! Now, does your sister love dogs? Is the question. Right? Here's another example. Do appears and flips, and there's the question. Okay, do they study English? Now notice this one is in the past tense. So it's not do or does, it's did. Okay, and flip. Nice job. Did Jungkook play soccer? Right, be careful. Notice here the S at the end, my sister loves dogs. That S is going to disappear from the verb and move with the auxiliary verb to the beginning of the sentence. It's going to flip, okay? The same with the past tense with the ed ending, okay? That is going to move to the beginning and disappear from the verb, okay? The main verb changes when you use do, does, or did. Okay, now it's your turn. If there's no auxiliary verb, what is the question? The answer is, yes, he likes movies. What's the question? Here we go. Does he like movies? Notice there should be no S here. You want to make that S disappear. What's the short answer? Yes, he does. Okay, oop. Good job. Now, another practice. Yes, I went to the BTS concert. What is the question? Did you go to the BTS concert? Short answer, yes, I did. Okay. Right, remember, for yes-no questions, you flip the subject and the auxiliary verb. Now, if it's the be, have, or modal, just flip. If there's no auxiliary, then you add do, does, or did, and then you flip. Okay? You must be exhausted. Exhausted means very tired. I'm sure you're very tired, so I want you to pause this video. This is part 1. I want you to pause, go relax for 10 minutes, and I want you to go outside or make a cup of tea or do 10 jumping jacks. Do you know what a jumping jack is? There's a jumping jack. Whew, that will wake you up, okay? So, get off your butt. Ooh, butt is maybe a little bit of a bad word. Stand up and go and relax and let your brain think about this information and then come back later, okay? I mean it. Go. 10 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. 10 minutes. You. Go. Really, go. Go.
And now, before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn.
Okay, hello again, you're back. This is part 2 of Let's Ask Questions. I know you took a little break. Good for you. Right, and let's take a deep breath. Good job. Now, we're going to practice some. Are you ready to practice? You're going to be writing a lot. Let's go. Right, first, let's talk about other ways to say yes and no. Yes and no are good, formal, excellent, but there's other ways to say that. For example, for yes, and I want you to listen to me and repeat, okay? Listen and repeat. For yes, you can also say, yeah. Repeat. Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. Sure. You bet. Right, these are more informal, okay? For no, you can also say, nah. Repeat. Nah. Nope. Huh-uh. Notice all that air. Huh-uh. Nuh-uh. Little children say this. And college kids. Nuh-uh. Repeat. Nuh-uh. Or, hmm-mm. You hear it's all in the nose. Hmm-mm. Good job. So, lots of ways to say yes or no for our yes-no questions. Okay, let's talk about pronunciation of yes-no questions. Yes-no questions have a rising pitch, like this, and I want you to listen and repeat, okay? Are you happy? Do you hear how it goes up at the end? Are you happy? Did you get the job? Will you ask him to marry you? Have you ever been to Los Angeles? Okay, the voice goes up at the end. Nice. Now, you're going to practice, write the question, and then practice the rising pitch. Okay, first, write the question and practice saying it. Okay, let's check. Right. Remember, listen and repeat. Does she love reading? Is she reading now? Do you speak English in class? Can we talk a lot? Have you eaten lunch yet? Did you eat cookies for breakfast? You hear the voice goes up at the end? Nice job. Okay, another pronunciation point is some parts of the sentence are reduced in English. Okay, reduced like this. Does he like to dance? Becomes does he. Does he like to dance? Repeat. Does he like to dance? Is he becomes is he. Is he a good dancer? Can he becomes can he. Repeat. Can he sing too? Do you and want to become do you wanna? Repeat. Do you wanna go? Would you becomes would ya. Would ya? Would you like some coffee? Can you becomes can ya. Can you help me? Okay. Pronunciation. Now you are going to write some yes-no questions about Ayami Nakato. Right. You will see the answer, yes, I know who that is, and you will have to write the question. Remember to practice the rising pitch when you write the question. Say it out loud. Okay, so it will look like this. Do you know who that is? Okay, now it's your turn. Here's the answer. Was she born in Osaka? Let's see. With an American pronunciation, it's Osaka. Are you ready? Was she born in Osaka? The answer is yeah, she speaks English. The question is, does she speak English? Is she a singer? Does she have a sister? Have you ever met her? Now, let's practice the short answers. Do you know who that is? Yes, I do. Okay, now you try. What are the short answers for these? Here's the answer. Right. Was she born in Osaka? Yep, she was. Does she speak English? Yeah, she does. Is she a singer? No, she isn't. Does she have a sister? Yes, she does. Have you ever met her? Nope, I haven't. Nice. Okay. Now, notice this. Of course, you already noticed. But do you see that here the auxiliary is repeated in the short answer? Of course you did. Okay, good job. Right. It's so easy. Yes, you're welcome. Okay. Right. Let's do some listening practice. You are going to listen to an audio. You're going to hear a question asked, and you have to choose the correct short answer. For example, you're going to see 4 answers like this, and you're going to hear a yes-no question. You will hear it, but not see it. Like this. Are you coming home soon? You hear the question, and you have to choose the correct answer. You should choose the best answer. In this case, are you coming home soon? The best answer is C. Yes, we are. Okay? Right, now, this is a little complicated. You have to pause this. You have to go to Google Classroom and click on Yes, No Question Listening. It looks like this in your Google Classroom. Okay? You're going to click on this Yes, No Question Listening. It's a Google form. It will open up, and then you have to come back here and listen to the audio. I'm going to play the audio, so you will have this playing on this screen, and you will have the form open and answer the questions at the same time. You can do it. Okay. Did you pause? Good. Now, I'm going to start the audio. You're going to listen and choose the correct answer. Okay? Here we go.
1. Are you a student at Mukagawa? 2. Do you live near Tokyo? 3. Does she love reading? 4. Is she reading now? 5. Do you speak English in class? 6. Can we listen to music? 7. Have you eaten lunch yet? 8. Did you eat cookies for breakfast? 9. Don't you just love studying grammar?
Okay, if you need to, you can go back and listen to that again. Okay? Click submit. Okay? And after you have done that, now let's move on. And we're going to check your listening. Okay? I'll read it and then I'll show you the correct answer. Are you a student at Mukagawa? Do you remember which answer you chose? Yes, I am. Do you live near Tokyo? Is it A, B, C, or D? No, I don't. Does she love reading? Yes, she does. Is she reading now? No, she isn't. Do you speak English in class? Yes, we do. Can we listen to music? Yes, we can. Have you eaten lunch yet? No, I haven't. Did you eat cookies for breakfast? Yes, I did. Don't you just love studying grammar? Yes, I do. Okay, nice job. Right, now, error correction. You're going to see some yes-no questions. Some of them are right and some of them are wrong. Click the ones that are correct, okay? Like this. I have a dog. Have you a dog? Do you have a dog? One of these is wrong and one is right. You should choose the question that is correct. In this case, the correct question is, do you have a dog? The first one, A, have you a dog, is wrong in American English. Now, it's possible in British English, but it's very old-fashioned. In British English, it's more common to say, have you got a dog? Okay, so have you a dog? If you say it, not correct. Okay, so what you need to do is choose the one that's correct. Right, here are the first three. Good, now, here are three more. And let's look at the answers. She has a dog. The question is, does she have a dog? They're going to have a baby. Are they going to have a baby? I've got a headache. Have you got a headache? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Your homework is due tomorrow. Is our homework due tomorrow? We've never been to Seattle. Have you been to Seattle? Or have you ever been to Seattle? Right. Careful with making mistakes, and you can correct them. Right, now we're going to practice 20 questions. It's a game that we play, like if you're driving a car for a long time and you get really bored, then you play this game with your friends, right? So it goes like this. One person is it, and they will think of an object that is a person, plant, animal, or thing. You're going to tell the other players which category your object fits into. Say, it's a person, for example, or it's an animal. You say that. Then, the other player takes turns to ask a yes-no question. Only answer with yes or no. And they're going to continue asking questions, and you are going to count the number of questions. They only have 20 questions, and then you win. Okay? So, if the player can guess your object before you reach 20 questions, they win. If they don't, you win. Okay? Right. And then it's the next person's turn. And it's fun. Right, so here's an example. You're going to watch these people playing 20 questions, and you're going to guess what the object is. Okay? Listen and guess.
Okay. Hi, guys. It's nice to meet you. My name is Sarah.
My name is Zach. It's lovely to meet both of you.
Okay.
I'm Betsy.
Hi. So we're here to play 20 questions. And is it okay if I go first?
That sounds great.
Okay. So you have 20 questions to guess what I'm thinking of. I am thinking of a thing.
Is this thing alive?
No.
Is it larger than a toaster?
No.
Is it smaller than a mouse?
No.
Is it something that we use every day?
Yes.
Is it something in the house?
Yes.
Is it commonly found in the kitchen or the living room?
That's not a yes, no question.
Oh, is it more commonly found in the living room?
No.
Is it usually found in the bedroom?
No.
Is it usually found in the kitchen?
No.
Is it usually found in the bathroom?
Yes. That's question 9.
All right, so we
Okay.
have 11 left.
Is it made of ceramic?
Not typically. No.
Is it something used for cleaning?
Yes.
Do you put it in your mouth?
Yes.
Is it a toothbrush?
Yes.
Ooh,
is a toothbrush.
good work, Betsy.
Nice. That was 13 questions.
Awesome.
All
Okay.
right.
Who
Well,
wants to? Oh.
Do you guys mind if I go next?
Mm-mm.
Sweet.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I am thinking of a place this time.
Okay.
Okay, that is 20 questions. Now, did you hear all of those questions? What was the object? It's something that you find in the house, and it's bigger than a mouse and smaller than a toaster, and you find it not in the kitchen or the living room, but in the bathroom, and it's used for cleaning, and you put it in your mouth. What is that? Yes. They said it's a toothbrush. Nice. Okay. You ready to take a break again? Right. I'm going to tell you now your homework because we're almost finished. You are going to practice yes/no questions on the Google Classroom link. You'll see a place to practice there. Okay? And then you are going to play 20 questions with some partners. Right. You're going to find your partners on the Google Classroom. You'll find that list. You're going to meet each other on Zoom. You have to make a time when all of you can meet together. You're going to record your meeting and choose one word each, one object that you're thinking of, and the other people will ask yes/no questions and try to guess what you're thinking of, okay? And you will remember how many questions. Right. When you're all finished, everybody chooses one. Then you stop the recording, put the title on the recording of your names, the names of you and all of your partners, and then you're going to upload that recording on Google Classroom. Okay? And you're done. Yay! But wait, this says choose one word each. Of course, you can do more than one if you want to practice more. Okay, do one or do two. It's fun. Right, now, if you have any questions or problems with this video or with grammar or anything, please check in with your lovely teachers online or send an email to your teacher through Google Classroom. Okay? But wait. Do you really, really, really want to practice grammar more? I know you do. Good for you. There are more practice links for grammar on our Google Classroom site, and you can go there, click on the link, and find lots of ways to practice yes/no questions in English. Okay? Thanks very much, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.